Guys, it's Lost in Plot, and today we're reviewing the HBO pilot for We Own This City. Now, this is a 6-part miniseries from David Simon, the creator of The Wire from HBO. So if you know The Wire, that old series on HBO, and everybody's probably got at least one friend who is going to tell you that The Wire is the greatest show that's ever been made.
Well, it is, isn't it?
There you go. That's what we've got here. Now, the story is based on a book, a true story, chronicling the Baltimore Police Department, specifically the unit that is tracking guns. And we're finding out, much like The Wire, that this town, Baltimore, is soaked in corruption. We're coming in at a very fascinating time because this is just after the Freddie Gray controversy there. So
the police brutality killing is basically what you're getting.
Police are under a microscope. They're trying to do their jobs. You see everybody out there with their cell phones, recording them, hoping to catch them, hoping to catch a dirty cop. So there's a lot of back and forth there. But this is not going to play out like a traditional pilot at all because this is chronicling a true story. So it's more of a docudrama. I mean, I don't think they're sticking too closely to the actual events. But the performances here are outstanding, and it's led by Jon Bernthal,
who's never been better, and he's by far and away the best character. He's so magnetic when he's on screen, it's like it almost pains you that he ever goes away, quite frankly. You wish the entire show was just about him. So much like The Wire, what we have here is a collage of the justice system, of politics, crime and justice in a big, dirty urban city in the ghetto where things are just wrong and they're not going to get right anytime soon. And the one big frustration I had with The Wire is another frustration that I still have with this pilot because they're done in the same fashion, which is when you do this kind of free-floating chronicle docudrama, you lose a lot of the narrative thrust, and it can get very frustrating, tedious, and it can really try your patience, especially when the subject matter is so grim and dire as it is here. Drug addiction, police brutality, gun violence, all this stuff, and it's relentless and very realistic.
Yeah, it's not going to have that traditional narrative that you might be used to. This is not Law and Order. This is not your average cop show. This is heavily, heavily grounded. And it's spoken and written with a level of authenticity that is pouring out of every frame, every character, every little bit of dialogue, just like The Wire. If you like The Wire, here it is. It's come back. So The Wire, famously, nobody was watching The Wire when it first aired. Everyone discovered it after the fact and then couldn't stop talking about it 5 years after it aired. Well, now it's back, and you can get in on the ground floor with this pilot for We Run the City.
Yeah, and the Wire, the original one, it really captivated and launched some careers based upon, if you hung with it long enough, the characters would start to really emerge. They become more distinct. And this one, it's flashes here, there, and everywhere that you really don't get much of an ensemble feel for everybody who's involved, except for Jon Bernthal, who just steals the show in every which way.
He absolutely, like you said it, he's never been better. He's never been better. He's awesome here. But if you are a big fan of the Wire series, like I am, I loved The Wire. I watched every single season, probably more than once. It's like slipping right back into that because you're right back into Baltimore. You've got the same kind of characters. You got a lot of the same actors from The Wire. They're back and they're doing more stuff here. So if you loved The Wire, there is no excuse why you are not watching this, because this first episode I thought was just really fantastic. I mean, I love that stuff. The realistic, grounded police procedural stuff of how it really works in a corrupt system like Baltimore. In fact, because things are so heavily politicized now, and this is dealing with a lot of very heavy political subject matter, the only area where I kind of balked a little bit was the portrayal of the OCR lawyer, which is the Office of Civil Rights. One of the main characters that we're following is this lawyer, this civil rights lawyer that has come to Baltimore after Freddie Gray. And she is one of the very few characters that's really given this, I thought, angelic-like portrayal.
Yeah, you may be right. I'm kind of waiting for them to take a slant on this person. This person...
They might, to be fair.
I mean, it's almost like a dog with a bone. And what I liked about their portrayal is this is the person... They only see one thing. Like, there's no doubt... There's nothing in their mind. They're not trying to understand how things work. They're not trying to talk to people and get a sense of, from the ground level, what people are trying to do. They already have the conclusion set in their mind. They know what's going on. There's systemic racism and police brutality. They know it before they even arrive, and they're going to dig in there. What they're going to do in order to stop, redress it, that remains to be seen. But
yeah, because something about The Wire was everyone was dirty. That's something you found out about The Wire. And like I think you said, it was kind of depressing and a little downtrodden there. Everyone's dirty. So that's what I expected here. And for the most part, yeah, everyone is dirty, except this lawyer, this civil rights lawyer, who's not. And the mayor is actually trying to do right after Freddie Gray. And I didn't buy it because I think they're all dirty shitbags. That's what I think. That's what I've been taught to think from The Wire.
Well,
so,
and
maybe in the next 5 episodes, we find out that, oh yeah, there is dirt on these people and they are kind of crooked and political just like everybody else.
And that's the way, if there's an angle to it, if there's a way to pimp, hustle, or exploit some kind of an issue and make people think you're doing one thing just so you can take advantage of it in order to enrich yourselves and others like you, then that's really what the people end up doing. And that's what The Wire exposes, is just kind of the dark nature of people in power and how it corrupts them and how they work the system to their own advantages.
Yeah, and the way the first episode is structured is fantastic. So we can't say a whole lot about specifically what's happening with this plot other than that there's investigations going on in the city under this era of police brutality. So part of it is them trying to root out brutal and corrupt cops, and Jon Bernthal is just kind of blazing his way through it, stealing the entire show as this character Wayne Jenkins, who is this glorified, can do no wrong guns cop who's just awesome at everything he's done. He gives him lectures. His performance here is outstanding. And this is probably the 4th or 5th time we've said that.
Yeah,
but
he's amazing.
You know it as soon as he does his first monologue. It's just like, oh my god, yeah, I can watch 6 episodes of this. I could watch an entire season of this. I was sad to realize that it's only a 6-part miniseries based on a book, because man, this is like having The Wire back.
That it is. Now, if we're going to rank this one, I'm going to give you... This show's too well made. It's too well acted. It's too well directed. It's too well written to tell you that it's not a good show and it's not worth your time. But for me, I get enough of this stuff watching the news. I don't need it in an hour-long drama. It's too downtrodden for me to the point where, man, sitting there, I don't get excited to go watch The Wire, and I don't get...
A lot of people are like that.
And I don't get excited to watch this. It's just too... It's too real, it's too authentic, and it's too depressing. So for me, this is just, it's a really quality show, so I can't mark it badly. It's a 6 out of 10 for me. It's just not my cup of tea in terms of what I want to sit down and watch.
It's alive for me. This is the type of show that I love, so this is an 8 out of 10 for me. I thought it was just fantastic, and if you're a fan of The Wire, this is it. The Wire's back for you. You can watch this, but that is a common complaint or criticism that I've heard from people.
Yeah.
I've heard from people who try and watch The Wire that they just fall asleep. They get bored with it because there isn't that traditional narrative structure and those characters to give you the thrust and push you through that. But if you find it just factually very interesting and to see how the real police work is done, I mean, obviously it's a dramatization, but it feels so authentic, and again, it's just so grounded that, you know, that's the kind of stuff that I love to watch. So
there you have it, guys. The Wire is pretty much back. If you watch this pilot episode, leave your thoughts and comments down below. Like and subscribe. Check us out on Twitter, and we will see you all on the next one.